DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
What is up, draft heads? How's everything going? I hope everyone is well. We've got one more week until a much-deserved international break. We're going to try to get you ready for that week so that you can take your break, hopefully stress-free, and just rest assured that that your team is in good hands until the 14 days are up and we're back at it for game week 5. Welcome into the KPC. Key Pass Collective. My name's Joe Williams. I'll be your host for this particular episode. What is going on, everybody in chat? Chris, Omar, Luis, and everybody else who's watching but hasn't said anything yet, tell us hey in chat. Welcome, everybody. If you are listening to this later, consider joining us for the live stream next time. We usually try for Wednesdays around 5:30. Check the Key Pass Collective Twitter account for more information on that every single week. Karel, hola, what's going on, man? Reminder, the Key Pass Collective is, of course, the audio companion to the Draft Society website. What is the Draft Society? Well, that's your place to go to get hooked up with all the information you could possibly need about the draft game, the draft fantasy football game. So if you have any questions, if you have any queries, if you have any waiver wire conundrums, all of that will be answered via thedraftsociety.com. Give it a check. Give it a check. All right. Today on the show, actually quickly, let me just mention, as far as the Draft Society is concerned, we do have what we call the Inner Circle, which is kind of our subscriber-only section. It does kind of keep the lights on and supports an independent fantasy football website, which is what we are. So we absolutely appreciate and love the community for all of the support so far. And for anybody else who's interested, the Inner Circle is open now. If you get the season pass, then you get the fantasy toolkit, which is kind of like our shining jewel. Draft Lad is amazing and has crafted that. And it's going to give you it's going to give you bespoke advice just for your league, just for your particular league. Using your Fantrax ID, it'll tell you the players that are available that we would recommend picking up using a mixture of fixture difficulty tracker, Robbie's rest of season rankings, who I see in chat right now. What's up, Robbie? There's a lot there. The fantasy toolkit's amazing. We've also built in the fixture difficulty tracker into the fantasy toolkit now. So yeah, there's a ton there. It's pretty cool. We're very excited about it. And once again, you'd be supporting us, which we would just really adore you for that. So if you're interested, there's a lot more to the Inner Circle as well, which you can kind of see on the screen now. Rest of season player rankings, points projections for every single week, sortable consensus rankings, which we'll be doing over the international break. So next week, look out for those. Set piece taker tracker, which I'll be mentioning a little bit of today. All kinds of stuff. So check out the DraftSociety.com. And if you're interested, Inner Circle, we would really appreciate the support. All right. Today on the Key Pass Collective, we have some quick questions, which we will delve into. It's obviously still transfer season, so we have to talk about a few of the new signings. So we'll do that and try to keep that fairly quick. After that, of course, we have a new segment, which I'm calling What's in the Box. And I'll explain exactly what that is when we get there. Then, of course, we got Game Week for streamers, stashes, and any questions along the way. Post them in chat. We'll try to get to them. Otherwise, we can kind of try to tackle them at the end. Let's bring in a couple of lovely gentlemen, a couple of handsome gentlemen, a couple of fantastic humans, Sanjy and Totti. How are you, my friends? Oh, you're muted, Totti. Classic.
Is he still trying to figure out how
He's trying to
technology
figure
works?
it out. This is good radio right here.
Yeah, I'm here.
What is going on? How the listeners for the audio component cannot see your background. Explain to us what you have going on there.
It's Beto.
It is
the
indeed.
second coming of a usable striker at Everton, or the first coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say who was the first coming.
I think there was a time when we thought that DCL was a usable striker there, but yeah, Beto just scored, so this is just a little homage, if you will, to Beto.
Nice. And Sanjy, who are you rocking today? Oh yeah.
I'm just channeling my my German rage because of league issues that we shouldn't be facing in today's day and age. But
for anybody who's in the community league, there were some major Fantrax issues, and I want to just stress that while we do have a working relationship with Fantrax, we are in no way able to affect the way that Fantrax and their what do you want to call it, infrastructure runs. They don't listen to most of the things that we have to say and most of our recommendations. So yeah, there is that. But how are things getting smoothed over in your league, Sanjy, or is it just getting worse?
I mean, in order to, you know what? I don't know if I should really air all laundry.
It's okay
on the pod, you know.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
I mean, listen. I mean, listen. Where do I start? I want to be respectful at the same time.
How's this? Here, let me help you. So, if we have any commissioners who are listening to the podcast and or listening in live with us, what are some recommendations we have for new commissioners that maybe things that we hadn't foreseen before, like this season, and we could employ now? Does that make sense?
Don't blue tick your league members. I think if you see a message, respond to it, please. Like, don't ignore us. Also, if you say one thing and do an absolutely different thing on multiple occasions, man, just do something else. Do something else. What's worse is that you're not even winning in the league. What are you doing? You're not commissioning. You're not winning. Like, what are you doing? You're just
that's fair
at this point. Like, no. Anyways, let's move on.
We'll get to it. There's been some interesting conversation throughout the course of this week. Robbie, of course, is posting in chat waivers Thursday and Friday, which has become like a whole thing in the Twitterverse. People debating over the right days to have waivers. So yeah, that's interesting. Check out Robbie's Twitter for a lot of takes on that. And just there's a lot going on behind the scenes here lately, but it's okay. We're gonna coast right through it and talk actual fantasy footy, which is why we're here. All right, let's go back to it. New transfers. There are 4 in particular that I want to talk about, although there's several that dropped or either were hinted today. Either were hinted or dropped today that maybe we should give a shout out to, but we can talk about that later. So obviously elephant in the room is Kudus to West Ham. Waivers have probably already run in almost everybody who's listening in your leagues, but in terms of fantasy prospects, how do we feel about this one, guys?
I'll go first. He's definitely one of the most exciting waiver ads this offseason. There's no question about it. He brings that sort of X factor that you want in a fantasy player that you love to watch as well as have on roster, and he is looking like someone who will be fun to roster. that said, we were kind of feeling that it's either him or JWP who was or has been worth that waiver 1 position. We are most of the main community leagues on Twitter are using Fab, so we have sort of morphed our thinking to think about how much Fab we would spend on each player. But he's one of the top guys for sure. There are a lot of question marks on where he will play in West Ham, just because of his versatility.
Yeah.
Ideally, he is someone who has a chance to carry the ball upfield. So either as an attacking 8 or even a 10. But he can feature on the wings as well. A lot hinges on Paqueta's betting trial and possible future suspension, whether we will see Kudus line up in the 8 position or a hybrid 8-10 position, or being sent out to the wing, which I think would hurt his productivity.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think he's going to be exciting. He's going to be electric to watch. He's going to be a goal threat. He's going to have a lot of attacking presence on that side. But yeah, like you said, I think some positions will be stronger, obviously, for him than others if he's deployed in certain areas. Sanjy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, quite exciting prospect in the league now. West Ham have done excellent business this window, man. They've spent that Rice money so well. If people watch the World Cup, Kudus lit it up. We kind of talked about some of his numbers in the Waiver Wire article that we posted this week. If you haven't had a chance to go read it, please go read it. First ever article for me. Yeah, it's an exciting prospect. My only concern is just I'm not sure what his ghost point potential will be for West Ham. Like, will it be similar for him on the international level? Again, it's what Totti kind of talks about, like the positions that he's going to take up. Also, I was wondering whether or not Antonio might also be at risk as well, like because of Kudus's flexibility in terms of where he can play on the pitch. But I mean, Antonio started the season so well; it'll be criminal to bench him. And at the same time, yes, he's an exciting asset, and a lot of people spent like hundreds of tab on him this week. But I go back to the point of David Moyes and just the way he kind of treats certain players. And we've seen it happen with Benrahma. We know his attacking output, his impact that he can make. But at the same time, Benrahma might start a few games, smash it, and then all of a sudden he's on the bench randomly. And that's the thing that worries me about David Moyes and Kudus and West Ham attacking options. But I mean, no, overall, I think it's a great asset to own, right? And it's quite exciting that he's been classified as a midfielder, not a forward. So,
yeah. What I will say is, so DraftLad has a sheet that sort of circulates preseason, and it's a sheet where basically any player that is rumored to come into the Premier League, he will, through magic and math, or maths for those of you who are across the pond, he will translate the statistics from that player from the previous season into what their Fantrax points would be. And I will say that as far as fantasy points per 90 are concerned, Mohamed Kudus is number 2 on that entire list of all of the rumored players, behind only Kylian Mbappe. He would have averaged 19 fantasy points per 90, and that's the average. So yeah, not to say that obviously the Premier League is the same. you need to maybe add some sort of tax, whatever percentage that is. But still, exciting talent. I would absolutely. I think I bid maybe 65 on him, and I didn't even get close to getting him.
I think more sort of realistic valuation for him isn't Fab because a lot of managers would rather spend all their Fab on an exciting but possibly risky player before the season or at the beginning of the season than nickel and dime throughout the season with $1 and $2 bids throughout. So I think that skews the valuation we put on Fab. So like what we have said with Doku, with Kudus, with even Ward-Prowse is that here's our valuation. Here's what we think his sort of in a vacuum type return on investment would be, or we think it is. But we need to caveat that with, if you want him, if you think he is the kind of player that you want on roster, you will have to pay up and you will have to pay above valuation. So I think before going on to my actual question, which will be, where would you draft him right now? And I think that's a better valuation of his prospects. The issue with valuing Fab is that I want to put this so that you guys understand what I'm coming from. Spent Fab is already invested in your player. So you can get better value potentially with future spending, but only if you spend it well. So only if you do the research, have a look at projections, are lucky in your league and get your $1 and $2 bids right on, and that way maybe you can get better war value for your 100 Fab dollars than spending it on one player who will come in with a 3rd, 4th round draft grade. But for that to actually happen, and that only happens for managers who will do the legwork. So I think Fab valuation is not only different in leagues, but it also is different for each manager. So if you're someone who routinely comes in top of days active charts on Fantrax at the end of the season, then you will most likely be able to get the most value from your Fab if you spend it $1, $2 at a time. Whereas if you come in mid to late or mid to bottom of the table in your days active charts at the end of a season, then there was someone outside.
Classic.
That was a little concerning.
Then you probably should look to spend your Fab early and on a good player like either Ward-Prowse or Kudus or even Doku for that matter.
Yeah. M. Andrews right now saying $100 for a JWP looks like a bargain, and he's saying $100 meaning 100% of your free agent budget. So whatever that number might be.
$100 is cheap for James Ward-Prowse, surely.
Yeah, because most people nickel and dimed, and he went for even more than that in a lot of our leagues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's like he said, it's looking like money well spent. To answer your question, James Ward-Prowse is easily a 2nd round pick, and I'm thinking Kudus is maybe like you said, a 3rd or 4th for me, right? And so yeah, what's the value on that? It's hard to say. Is it 100? I don't know about that. That's tough. But again, like you said, Totti, and illustrated wonderfully. It's up to each manager and how involved you want to be throughout the season. Nice. Sanjy, anything on that?
No, I agree. Like third, fourth round value. I mean, Totti, I have a question for you though. If you have to compare Kudus to like an existing third or fourth rounder asset, who would you kind of compare him to, I guess? And then I guess maybe we can associate a comparative fab value with that, right?
It's difficult because he's coming into a team that has swapped out older midfield and is coming in very late in the preseason. So that definitely caveats everything. So, but like, I think he's definitely coming in late third round. So he's if we're looking at third round mids, maybe Kulusevski, around that value for me. Definitely below like Soboslai and March, who came in the third round in some leagues. Obviously, that seems like a bargain after 3 weeks. But let's say who did we have third round midfield value? Third
Maybe
round
like would you put Solly March there?
Yeah, like March was slipping to third round, but obviously I'd much rather have Solly March than Mo Kudus. Let's see.
Or Alexis McAllister?
Oh, Kudus all day.
Yeah, agreed. Kudus all day. Just because we have had like Alexis McAllister, I think was one of the main players who had a very different valuation in the community to where we valued him. So I want to give you some midfielders to compare him to based on ADP. Pascal Gross's ADP was 36.
Yeah, that's just the name I was gonna look at. I mean, for
That's a
me,
tough
I
one.
think I would take Pascal Gross just because of the key passes and how consistent he is season after season.
And you know that he has a role there. Like you know that he has a role. You know that he will play in any number of positions, but he will play there. There is an eyesore which is Bruno Guimaraes, who was 40th for ADP, but yeah, obviously we'd rather have Kudus.
Kudus every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Gibbs White was 43rd.
Give me Gibbs White.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I think honestly the best sort of valuation is Kulusevski. Someone who is on an attacking team, doesn't have set pieces, will contribute to goals, not the main man. And I think I don't think Kudus will be the main man on West Ham, but it's exciting.
Are you dropping 100 fab on Kulusevski then? Is that, or like how much are you dropping on Kulu? 80?
That's a good question.
You would have to drop 100 to get
if you want to get him, because someone in your league's going to.
Yeah, that's the same with Kudus. Like, probably if you like, if it was a, if it was a draft day, then yeah, his value would be around, I don't know, 60, 70 fab. But if it's after draft day and you're essentially hoping to buy a third round value or a fourth round value with your 100 fab, then he will go. All these guys will go for 100 fab. No question about it.
Watch Kudus become this season's Corny.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Rishi is asking in chat, Paquetá or Kudus, considering everything we know at the current moment if you're drafting today.
I'm not touching Paquetá.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of 3 players who has scored double digits in all 3 game weeks. drafted thoughts. Thank you. But
sell high.
But yeah, I mean, any moment there could be the Athletic article drop saying that he's about to be suspended. And to be honest, if he is found guilty, then what he did was much, much worse than what Ivan Toney did.
Absolutely.
So his suspension should go to much higher number of weeks, months, years out. But then again, innocent until proven guilty, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, listen, all the Ivan Toney managers were fearful last season, but they rode that until the end of the season and benefited.
That is true.
It could be the same situation with Paquetá. We talked about it on BB Pod as well. Like, it's gonna be, you're gonna not get good enough value for Paquetá from any other manager because that cloud is gonna be hanging over your head. So the best you can do is probably just enjoy the Paquetá points while you have it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not going to be able to trade him out, and you really shouldn't trade him out unless you have a contact at the FA and know that the suspension is coming. But that's a bit iffy.
Right. Well, how long did we wait for the Toney news? I mean, you could get 3/4 of the season from him. Who knows?
And if he continues to get double digits every week, then he's a top 5 mid.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Bask in it.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move here, boys. Let's take these other ones quicker. Totti, you just had his picture on your screen. Beto to Everton already scored a goal today. Literally just into the side and already scored a goal in a cup match. But we won't. Still, he already scored a goal, so I assume you're very excited.
I'm moderately excited. just pour some cold water on that.
All right.
Yeah, he's still an Everton forward at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the kind of Everton forward, or he's the kind of Dyche forward that you like. He's 71st percentile for aerials 1. He's a big lad. He's agile as well. So yeah, there is no reason he couldn't be a solid floor, decent-ish upside forward too.
Sanjy?
I would like to turn up the temperature on your tap, Totti. I'm quite keen on getting this guy. I mean, there was a confusion about getting him today because depending on when waivers were processed, all that sort of jazz. Also, if you're trying to get this guy, his name isn't Beto in the game. All right, it's
that's
some
a good point.
long 5-6 name.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Fantrax.
Yeah, so definitely be wary of that and don't be like, oh my God, he's not in the league yet, so I'm just going to chill until he's added. No. Go look up the proper name. What is his proper name exactly?
Let me try to...
on the pod?
Let me try. It's not... Okay, that's Yusuf Trimidi. Oh, here it is. Norberto Bersique Gomez Betunkal.
Yeah.
Can you see that now? I've put it up.
Yeah, we can see it on the screen. Yeah.
There you go. So, I mean...
Search up Norberto. You'll find him.
Exactly.
Norberto, Norberto, in your Fantrax until we get them to change the name, hopefully.
Which will mess with all our data scraping, the draft lab.
Right.
But he was also mentioned in our waiver article, right? He's coming off. I mean, let's look as far back as his 2 seasons with Udinese. Double-digit goals in both seasons. Even his small cameo tonight. If you look at some of the stats that you can pull up from websites like SofaScore. NBGB, yes.
NBGB. Elliot Freeman comment in chat. That's awesome.
Let's go with that. But in his 45-minute cameo, he had 1 shot on target, 3 shots off target. He hit the woodwork, 2 big chances missed. An aerial is in there, a couple of tackles. He was offside. I don't know if he score an offside goal as well in like the last second of the game. I think there was a chance that I heard when I was rushing to get ready for the stream and stuff like that. But yeah, listen, Everton put up 4.7 XG so far for the season, no goals scored, and they've been crying for someone to put away their chances. I mean, sure, they've lost McNeil, they've lost Iwobi, James Garner, Decore, Onana are kind of all responsible for creativity, but I feel like he could fit in. Like, he looks like he has good physicality suited to the Prem as well. I don't see why not, like why he can't hit the ground running. So
I have a league where I have the coveted McNeil NBGB double up.
You already got NBGB in?
I got him in NBGB.
Oh wow. Yeah, because he's not available in mine yet. I think he's running on the waivers on Friday.
You mean our league, Joe?
Our league. Well, also the community league. Yeah, my 2 leagues. Sorry.
Where we're facing each other. Exciting.
That we are. That week this week. That's right. Oh, it's a derby. Let's go. I forgot about that.
I thought it was quite fitting given the Draftapalooza, and then we're facing each other. So
solid. If only I could be there. That's okay. Yeah,
I think that's a good segue to sort of mention that now.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Because Sanjy, Robbie, Ryan, and myself will all be in London this weekend. We'll do a little get together on Friday night in Midtown London at us, and we'll send you the locations if you want to join. We'll watch the Luton West Ham game and we'll talk draft and have fun. Otherwise, us lot are going to Brighton on Saturday to watch Brighton v Newcastle, which should be a great game.
Someone once said that envy is for people who don't have self-esteem to be jealous. So I'll just say that I'm very jealous. I'm very, very jealous of you. I hope you guys have a blast, man. Honestly, it's gonna be great. Okay, Beto, I'm kind of with you, Sanjay. I'm excited about him. I think he could be solid. My only question is like, what happens to DCL?
Ride off into the sunset.
I mean, like, Sean Dyche has played 2 striker systems before. I mean,
yeah.
Not saying that one is an Ashley Barnes and the other one is a Chris Wood. I don't know if you can just compare based on physicality and height differences, but
one of them could be Sam Vokes.
Sam Vokes, yeah. Well, that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
I mean, if he's not getting results, and let's say they go to Brown Lane, they lose again, bottom of the table still, like, surely he might try something different, especially if he doesn't have his creative, assets back fit yet. So I don't know if it's too bold to think of, but yeah, let's see. I still think Beto could do something, could do bits, man. Let's see.
Fair. Is anyone excited about Archer to Sheffield United?
No.
That's the classic pause. No, that was coined by Ryan so long ago. Just pause. No.
Well, I think I might change depending on whether or not they get a last-minute attacking midfielder of known quality to supply Archer with those. Yeah, thank you, Totti. I actually grabbed him in a couple of leagues as well. I saw the news flying around Twitter. I mean, if you listen to our Inside Track series as well, I'd suggest, messaging James as well about anything Sheffield United. He's the one that actually gave me the tip. He's like, yo, I think we're getting linked to James McAtee for loan. So I'd be trying to grab him, trying to stash him in leagues if possible. And I think now as well, it's a good time to kind of grab stash assets that might be rumored to get chances at different clubs because the window closes evening of September 1st, which is the Friday. So other than Luton West Ham, which I don't think you're going to be able to stash assets for, you can wait until the window closes, everything's confirmed, and then Saturday morning, if it doesn't pan out, drop them, and you have a empty spot on your roster.
Yeah,
you can just stream for the remainder of the game week, right? So
I like that.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to say final one, but it's not, because unfortunately, as the chat is buzzing about, news has already broken within the last couple hours that we're going to talk about in just a second. But Timothy Castagne to Fulham, I don't see him starting right away, but I'm curious what you guys think.
long side.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, are we excited about any Fulham players right now?
Raul Jimenez, but Ryan won't agree with me.
Yeah, and neither will I.
And neither will I. I mean, I could agree with you if we found out that our understanding of the word excited is different.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So this isn't about the player. This is just about our shared, the language we share or claim to share.
Exactly. Well, fun aside, I like Castagna. I think he was one of the best players on that very bad and ultimately relegated Leicester team. He should nail down a spot for Fulham. I think he should be a starting defender at Fulham. And if he does actually do that, I will gladly stream him. And if he turns out to be decent, I'll gladly hold on to him for stretches of games like I did for Gani Tete. Less so Anthony Robinson, but to some extent, even Tosin on some good weeks, he was a decent streamer.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't want to diss Castagna. He's a good player and he's a good fantasy asset. It's just that Fulham are looking a bit rudderless right now. So I'm staying away. Completely
agree. Sanjy, so our Ghost Point tracker was updated on August 28th, which people can find on thedraftsociety.com. Take a stab at Raul Jimenez's current Ghost Point average through 3 games. Ghost points, of course, being those points that are scored that are not goals, assists, or clean sheets.
I'm going to say 2 to 3, something like that.
Very nice. 2.7. Very nice. And by the way, that's terrible.
I mean, I think you got to take those games in isolation, though, right? It's always going to be tough having a brilliant start to your career at a new club. And I think his most recent game, he would have ghosted 8.5 points. I mean, it shows 6.5 because he got a yellow card that game. And I think that was his first game at Emirates since he got that head injury at that very ground as well. Yeah, I still think there's a player in there. I think we know his quality and know his potential. And obviously, I'm going to bang his drum because I'm an owner. And I'm hoping and praying that maybe he turns it out to be an asset. But I do understand the concern, right? And the thing is, he has, like, big boots to fill, man. Mitro was an absolute monster last season. Like, first, second round pick value. Like, if you're expecting that, then obviously... like, no, because that's going to be very, very difficult to replicate. But if he can get some, a run of form and, they've now got increased creativity from a fullback position in Castagne. Because, I mean, I agree with Totti. I would assume he's their best fullback option at the moment, right? He starts above Tete. He starts above Robinson. I think Castagne has enough ghost point potential as well, even if that Fulham defense concedes. And Paulinho is coming back now as well. They just beat Spurs in the EFL Cup. Like, I think we need to have a bit of patience maybe with Fulham as to what they can provide from an attacking sense. But yeah, I mean, it's not been a brilliant start for Raul Jimenez at all. I agree. But I think we need to have a bit more patience.
That's fair. That's fair. I like it. I like the devil's advocate stance. I like a counterpoint. It's good.
I don't like fences.
That's good. Yeah, I'm glad. They're uncomfortable to sit on. All right. As you can see on the screen is just one of many comments in chat that have been made already about the rumors of Brighton attempting to bring in Ansu Fati on a loan.
And that is hijacking Spurs' bid,
which would leave them only with, at this point, it sounds like Brennan Johnson as their main target. So Ansu Fati to Brighton, what would that look like, guys?
It would just be much, much worse than it currently is.
Yes, exactly.
And it's already bad.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I am dreading the day that it is coming that Mitoma is getting benched. Especially if Ansu Fati is coming in, because I think he is primarily a left winger. I haven't watched a lot of Barcelona recently. But yeah, he is definitely an exciting player, and we will dive deep into him if he actually signs for a Premier League club to show you what he's made of. But as I've been saying all preseason, this is actually the De Zerbi that we anticipated last season. The guy who is trying to score one more goal than the other guy, and also the guy who will rotate the hell out of his team.
Yeah, and it's looking more and more like that. And Ciso being out, I mean, I guess maybe that was alarm bells, and they thought they needed some extra reinforcements, or maybe this is just
they were close to Kudus as well.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is just De Zerbi going to De Zerbi.
I mean, yeah, the profile of players that they were looking for is pretty similar. They were looking for, they're looking at possibly Palmer and Kudus, and now settled on Fati.
Yeah, I mean, Carl makes a good point. After Ansu Fati's injury, he really hasn't been the same and hasn't even like nailed down a spot in the 11 at Barca. So, I mean, there is that. Maybe he has to earn his spot. Is he? I think it's an actual question. I mean, is he better than Mitoma?
He's not bad. I don't think he's better than Mitoma. I think he's like, he's coming in as support. He's coming in as someone, I think, who, as he was coming up, showed extreme potential. And Brighton saw an opportunity to pounce, get him in, have a look at him with their own eyes, like not through television screens and through intermediaries. Have a look at him, put him through the paces, and if they can get him, and if it turns out that he is, there is a player, there is the same very exciting young player in there that can come out with a little help from Brighton, then they've hit the jackpot, as they usually do with most of their signings. If not, then he'll go back to Barcelona and suffer the Freddie Adu situation as the young, exciting attacking talent that never will be. But yeah, I think it's a very smart deal from Brighton. They have the cash to spend, and they are spending it wisely, which is absolutely no surprise to anyone who has seen Brighton in the last few years.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm more anxious about Adingra taking minutes off Mitoma in the near future than I would be of Fati. But like, for a whole season, it just complicates things with Brighton attacking players, which has already been complicated enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Sanjy, your take?
Yeah, I think in the comments, Rishi brings up a good point, right? Brighton are kind of been known for doing loan deals now over the past couple of seasons. He mentions Levi Colwill, Billy G as well. So I'm not gonna touch Ansu Fati. I mean that injury concern is real, and I do agree it's probably going to be a massive depth signing, and it's kind of a good situation for Barcelona as well, right? Fati's been at Barcelona pretty much his entire career, been in Spain in his entire career. So maybe the change of scenery they're hoping could help him with managing his injury status, or maybe regaining some sort of confidence playing with a brilliant manager, with a team that's playing some very attractive football. So it's kind of a win-win situation for Barcelona, regardless of where he kind of goes. I guess obviously, like, going to Brighton is much better than going to Spurs. Let's be honest. So yeah, I'm excited to see him play in England, but will I roster him? Probably not.
I agree wholeheartedly.
All right.
I would try to get my league mates to spend all their remaining fans on it.
Yes.
No question about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have to kind of do a wrap up transfer windows sort of special or longer segment over the international break, because like you said, Totti, we can cover these things, more once they're actually confirmed. So let's move along. Okay. This is called What's in the Box.
Guess what's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
You are absolutely welcome for that one. One more time? Sure, you got it.
Guess what's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
That might be my favorite drop that I've ever created, guys. Anyway, okay. What's in the box? This is a new game/segment that I've created where we are going to be placing players into 4 different boxes. Those boxes will be labeled, and I'll walk through what they are. But we're focusing on players who, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately in some cases, find themselves in a different box than they were on draft day. So this is us sort of coming to terms with new player evaluation, with a new role for a player, or just generally what we can expect from them as a fantasy asset. So what is in the box? First category, DROP ASAP. DROP ASAP. Totti, I believe you are first. Hit us with your 2 players.
Unfortunately, number 1 is Brownhill, and my number 2 is Bruno Guimaraes. Brownhill is just not playing. It's either the potential signing for Wolves, which I think will not happen now that they have Tommy Doyle coming in as part of the Matheus Nunes deal. It is rumored that company just doesn't think that Brownhill has got what it takes to play in the Premier League. Anyway, long story short, he's not playing. Even if he's playing, he is playing on a newly promoted Burnley team that is not very extremely exciting, attacking, high-scoring team. So it's a drop for me. And Bruno Guimaraes has just developed an allergy to fantasy points this season. He's one of those guys who, if we were talking like an attacking asset that started with like scoring 2 or 3 points, let's say someone like João Pedro, who started 1 game and then didn't start the next 2, he would be nowhere close to my drop ASAP. He wouldn't be my buy low ASAP. Whereas Guimaraes, on his best days, gives you 8-9 points. That's not worth waiting for and not worth rostering for, because you're gonna have you're going to be too anxious to start him. So he's been, like we just talked about it. He had a 40 something ADP, which is a huge drop now that he's, I think, droppable.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. And I mean, that he was one of those players that we all, not just toot our own horn, but we all ranked a lot lower than he was going in terms of his ADP. He's never ghosted that well. He just, there are games where he disappears, and now that they have more attacking talent, it just seems like, yeah, he's got a role and he's just sort of going to stick to it. Nice. Exactly. All right. So Ryan, who may join us later, maybe not. I mean, he's on a work trip overseas, about to join you guys, but currently, I believe, still in Ireland, is he?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, he had a work dinner and was trying to join us, but I think it ran long. It's okay. We're going to give you his picks anyway. He's recommending you drop DCL, which is interesting now with the Beto news. But DCL, I think, just given the fact that he's just done with him. And then Kluivert, a.k.a. Justin Kluivert. And then he says / Bournemouth, which I think he is also a little bit fed up with the Cherries at the moment. So those are Ryan's picks. I went with Ollie Norwood, who was a little bit later of a draft pick. A lot of people were hoping that he was going to be kind of one of those under the radar ghost point type of guys where he would still get you a good solid floor of points every week. It's just not happening. He's playing. He's just not doing what we'd hoped. Some of that is down. Go ahead.
I had him in the avoid column in Sheffield United right up. Just saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Some of that's down to Hamed, obviously, or Hamed? No, Hamer. Yeah, Hamer time. Yeah, MC Hamer. And then some of that's down to just the fact that like he's just not producing really. My second one is Yuri Tielemans, hopefully for obvious reasons, but he's still something like 60% rostered. So get rid of him. Move on. There's new players coming into the league. There are players being dropped that have value in all of my leagues, and you'd much rather have any of them. Sanjy.
So before I give my picks, am I allowed to challenge Totti on his picks?
Oh, yes. Please.
Yes. Fight.
So I agree with the Brownhill thing. Like he's probably a drop. Like, I mean, he's not being started, which is mind-boggling to me because I was quite excited and possibly rostering him this season. In terms of the Brownhill performance and all that, he played tonight in the Cup. I think if you count up his stats and stuff, all that, I think he got around maybe 10 ghosts or something like that. He got the assist for the winner as well. And we've seen, I think, in a lot of these Cup games, middle of the season, it's sometimes a platform for existing assets to show the manager, listen, you need to be playing me, right? And they'll have a great Cup performance, and then all of a sudden they start getting league appearances, league minutes, and then they start to be nailed in the league team in that sense. Are you not concerned that maybe this is one of those examples that could happen, sort of thing?
The reason I'm not concerned about that because it's not a new signing. It's not a player that needs to bed in, needs to find his spot on the team. He's a player who played all of last season under company. So it's not, he knows this guy. He knows what he can do. He played him all last season. He was their main man in the midfield. And for some reason or other, he decided not to play him. And he didn't even come on. I think he came on for 1 minute against Man City in the first game. And then he didn't feature in the second at all. So the only reason or the only possible positive I could find to justify still rostering him is that maybe his head was turned by a potential transfer speculation, and the company said we'll reintegrate you when your head is in the game. But he was on the bench for these games. He hasn't been sent to the under-21s. There was no disciplinary issue. There was no real rumors either. So it wasn't like was some chatter about him going to Wolves, but it was very low level, not very trustworthy sources. So I think in this day and age, we would have heard if there was concrete interest. If this was the case that he was looking for a move away, I tend to believe those rumors that company thinks he needs a different type of player in that midfield, and at the end of the day, it was more of a hopeful draft grade for him rather than a proven draft grade. So remember, even 2 years ago when Burnley were in the Premier League, it was at the end of the season that he became a valuable fantasy asset when he got that more attacking role on Burnley. Even before that, he wasn't, like, he was there and he was playing and nobody wanted to pick him up. So that is a possibility that he starts playing and he keeps getting 5 points. So it's not like we're like, honestly, at this point in time, I'd rather hold Cole Palmer, who I don't think will play a minute of Premier League football. But with Chelsea, you could see Sterling and Madueke get injured in a 10-minute stretch in any league game, training, or dinner at home. So that means Cole Palmer is a starter for Chelsea. And he's an attacking starter rather than Brownhill, who will be exciting but high floor, low ceiling midfielder even if he plays.
Yeah, we should mention that was confirmed earlier today by Fabrizio Romano, inevitably after it was already confirmed by other sources.
Oh, Tapping Merchant at it again. And Bruno Guimaraes as well. I don't know. I feel like we're being harsh on him because last season and a half of what we've seen of him, average around 8.5 to 9 points. I'm wondering, like, and we've seen it multiple times, is in Fantrax, depending on where a player lines up in that team or whatever, their responsibility and role changes within that team, and obviously their points output changes accordingly. Do we think maybe it's a situation because of the impact of Tonali, that's why Guimaraes is not scoring as well? And once Champions League kicks in, what if Guimaraes gets to play a bit further forward and they kind of play a more combative midfielder partnered next to him instead of rolling out Tonali for a 38-game season?
Yeah,
you guys can see this right now, right?
A 7-point midfielder.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, you can see this. I mean, his heat map clearly he's not involved in the attacking third really at all at this season. So what you have on the screen currently is care of SofaScore, his season heat map, and this is the 23-24 Premier League season. And what you see is just he's hardly ever, he's almost never in the opponent's box. He's just not there.
Anyway, you can get last season's heat map on here?
Yes, absolutely. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. What about the season before that? Same thing.
But he plays everywhere, wherever you need him. Like, so I'm not surprised by any of these heat maps.
I get that. And I think he's one of those players that if you've drafted him or if he ended up on your team, then he can complement your midfield. Ideally, with 5 to 10 points every week, but he's getting 1 to 2 points.
Right.
Yeah.
So the upside of 5 to 10 points and waiting for that to happen, either when Champions League starts or if someone gets injured or there's a shift around in midfield, it's not worth waiting for me.
Yeah.
It's just eating up a roster spot.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool.
Hit us, Sanjy.
Yeah. So the two names that I've suggested, two defenders, how exciting. One is Lewis Dunk. I just feel like Brighton are gonna keep conceding goals and chances, and typically centre backs don't really score well. I mean, regardless of the team they play for, I feel at least most of them, like Ruben Diaz, for example. Like there are a few names that I wanted to put here. Ruben Diaz, Pau Torres as well. But I mean, you look at his scoring so far for the season, Lewis Dunk. He's got negative 0.75, 1.5, and then most recently 4.75. But I feel like that 4.75 was kind of boosted by the fact that they were basically throwing the kitchen sink. Like they were basically trying to get some sort of comeback goal versus West Ham. And yeah, there's a shot in target in that 4.75. So I feel like it would have just been another shit score from him. And I don't see them keeping clean sheets anytime soon. Also, it's very upsetting that they're rotating their goalkeeper. Like, as a defender, that would just be like, I look back and it's not the same guy I've been playing with last game. Like, that's a little off-putting slightly. And I feel like that level of rotation just would harm your defense, if anything. So, yeah, that's a few reasons why I'm kind of like low on him. And then now Lisandro Martinez, his output so far, negative 0.5, negative 2.75, and 1.75. Not great numbers. I feel like you could probably get something better from like John Egan. Granted, John Egan just put down negative 1.5, I think, but that was versus the Man City team as well, right? So, yeah, I know Varane's injured, Luke Shaw's injured. Like, what is the centre back pairing gonna be moving forward? Is it gonna be a combination of him and Evans, him and Slabhead? Like, yeah, I don't know. You know, United, I feel like they're still gonna. Sorry,
Lindelof. Don't forget Lindelof.
Yeah,
I mean, Lindelof surprisingly put up some decent ghost points as well. When he came on as a sub, I think in the last game, I think he put up like 7.5 or something like that.
But let's not forget to mention the fact that just United have been absolute dog shit so far. So like just the mere fact that like defensively they've been an absolute shambles. And so I just don't know even I'm not sure I could recommend even like if I knew Delo was nailed, which he seems to be now that Shaw's injured, but can I even recommend him on a week-to-week basis?
He was dropped. It was dropped in my league, and I was debating on how much to bid for him, and I was very not sure about how much I wanted to bid for him. I got him for I think 12 or 13 fab.
That's not bad. I like that.
Seems like a steal if he plays, and I've heard analyses that mention that if Cucurella comes in to the left back role, that his defensive solidity would mean, or his inaptitude to attack, whichever one tickles your fancy, would mean that it would allow Delo to actually start at right back ahead of Van Bissaka, which would be the ideal situation for fresh-faced Delo owner.
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, and we know that he produces when he's there.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Also, it doesn't help Lisandro Martinez's case that he is a bit card happy, and with the refs and the new rules, and he's Argentinian, and we've seen these Argentinian defenders get yellow cards easily, like Marcos Rojo at one point, Christian Romero, like, so that just doesn't help his case.
The Butcher, he's happily nicknamed.
That's an awesome nickname, though, to be honest. That's fantastic. All right.
Your students call you the Butcher.
They do. My students all call me the Butcher. Yeah. To my face. Behind my back, it's something different. All right. Are we ready to roll? Here we go. What's in the box? The next box is set and forget. This is a much more positive one, boys. This is definitely one of those where it's like we can celebrate the achievements of some of these players. So who is now set and forget that wasn't when we were coming into this season? Let's talk about this one. Totti.
I tried to look at players who were previously not considered set and forget. And obviously, this whole segment, this whole podcast comes with a caveat of it's early. It's still only 3 game weeks in, so a lot can change. But two of the players that I thought were going to be much more up and down and are looking a bit more steady. One is Udogi, Destiny Inyemanya, whatever his middle name is, Udogi. I thought that he would be one of those Marcus Alonso types that this scores 0 points or 25, and he's been getting good ghosts. He's been getting, obviously, Spurs have 2 clean sheets in 3, which skews the sample size a bit. They're not going to get 2 out of 3 clean sheets for the whole season, but yeah, he looks good for it, and he looks to have that spot nailed down much more than anybody on the right side. So yeah, for me, is set and forget, and he will probably, I will probably be overconfident in his set and forgetness.
Gettedness. I don't know.
And end up starting him for a -8 against a bigger team. But yeah, as long as he doesn't prove me wrong, then I think he's there as a set and forget. And the other one is Jensen of Brentford, who I've rostered several times in the previous seasons and has always been overwhelming and then very underwhelming.
Yeah.
And now he looks like he was in my 3 players to keep an eye on in the Brentford article, and I'm glad I kept an eye on him. Although I didn't manage to draft him in any of my leagues, and now I probably can't get him because he's been playing well. But yeah, I would run him out every week, regardless of opposition.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
Set and forgettingness at its best.
Yeah, Liberty Autumn in chat said set and forgetitude.
Sounds good.
Set and forgetitude. Yeah. I like that. Ryan's contributions were Thiago Silva and Julian Alvarez. Okay, Julian Alvarez, sure. I think we were concerned about his
That's what he's doing.
I mean, yeah, it's like, come on. We were concerned about his rotation, clearly, but you're talking about a 4th round pick there, right, Ryan? Come on.
Son.
Come on, son. Yeah, no. But Thiago Silva, what do you think about that one, Sanjy? Set and forget.
Yeah, I think it's one of your better centre-back defensive options. He's got a goal threat as well. I think it's a good choice. Honestly, I think even now with the fixture run that Chelsea has, we're probably gonna get a clean sheet, maybe 1 in every 2 games. I'd say. I'm still worried that Robert Sanchez is our goalkeeper. Like, I lose sleep over that. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean?
Penalty.
Getting Brighton's 2nd/3rd choice goalkeeper as your number 1 goalkeeper is exactly the Chelsea way to go.
I think at this point we're just gonna change that line on our logo to a seagull. We're just taking everything from them. So
that's fair.
Yeah, it's concerning. That's the only thing I'd be worried about is the clean sheet guaranteed? But I think he has enough ghost point potential to warrant, just set and forget status. Also, I saw somewhere in one of my chats tonight that Colwell got subbed early in tonight's cup game. So I don't know if there was an injury that would have popped up. So
there was an injury, but Pochettino already came out and said that it's a non-issue.
Okay. All right. So I mean, with him, Disasi, Cole in the back, I think Tilva is a safe set and forget. He's in one of my rosters as well. I don't even think about it. So
yeah. So Gospel of Plato, Plato, not Play-Doh, brings up in chat that he's not set and forget once BB Badiashile is back. What do you think about that?
I doubt that. I think Thiago Silva is playing as many games as his legs can hold, and currently he seems that his legs can hold much more than the 21-year-olds around him.
Much more than a normal human being who is that age, which is just insane.
Which is our age, Joe.
Yes. Which, yeah, makes.
I wouldn't be able to stand for 90 minutes.
No, I barely can right now. All right, mine are going to be Joachim Anderson and Pedro Neto. Let's start with Anderson because you're going to see Ryan disagree with me on this in a couple of slides here. But I just looked at his output. I looked at his ghost points. I looked at the underlying stats for the game so far, and he's been pretty damn solid. It's not that they've had like a super easy schedule either. 4.75 in a 1-0 loss to Arsenal. First of all, that shows me some pretty decent defensive solidity, but then it also shows me a decent ghost point output, which is going to be above 6. That's what you're looking for. Obviously, the 34.75 against Brentford, probably something we can set aside. But just because he had the one goal, it's not like he got 34 points from a goal. He's scoring points doing a myriad of different things on the pitch. I just think that's one of those where I drafted him in a league and dropped him, I think, before the first match. Not obviously after he scored 23 points against Sheffield, but Sheffield United. But yeah, I'll never forgive myself. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I did the same thing with Ben Mee last year and still didn't win my league. So the second one is Pedro Neto. And I just want to bring him up because Carl makes a good point. Okay, I can't laugh at Ryan for saying Alvarez and then put Pedro Neto on my list. Yes, I can. First of all, it's Ryan. He's not here to defend himself.
Exactly. You have to be here. You have to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Second of all, Pedro Neto went way, way later in drafts. And he's going to end up, I'm going to predict right now, I think he's going to end up being a forward 2, bordering on like top 15 forward by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And that value is insane right there. And the fact that you got him as at most a 7th round pick, most people got him even later than that, is ridiculous value. And that's league winning value right there. So don't trade him unless you get a really, really good offer. He's been ghosting out of his mind. He's not tied to clean sheets, obviously. He's not tied to goals and assists really at all. So he's just playing out of his mind. He's like the player we knew and loved from seasons ago. So hold on to him.
So I think for me the question is, and the litmus test for set and forget for anyone, for defenders, would you start him against anyone bar Man City? So would you start Joachim Anderson against Brighton or Liverpool? That is my sort of cutoff for set and forget. I would start Udogie against Liverpool or Brighton. Personally, I wouldn't start on Anderson. For forwards, I think there's no caveat. Would you start him any week? And with Neto, I agree. I would start him any week against City, against Arsenal, against I don't know who, proper low block, not gonna let you live, sort of West Ham, Everton type. Yeah, I would start him any day of the week. So he gets the set and forget tag from me at least, but Anderson for me doesn't.
Interesting. So 4.75 against Arsenal doesn't do it for you.
No, like I would want that on my bench. I can get a 7-8 point streaming defender any game week.
Yeah, that's
probably
fair.
Not gonna hit on any of or on all of my streamers, but I think for every game week in a 12-team league, you have the possibility of getting an 8-point defender.
So we'll have to see if you agree with the box that Ryan has put him in just a bit.
I will.
Okay. All right. Sanjy.
Yeah, so I've got 2 midfielders who I guess play in similar-ish positions, Yves Bissouma and Jefferson Lerma. So I feel like I could kind of talk about them both at the same time. They're just, I mean, we've seen like Steady Eddies get like, let's say, 5 to 8 points. That just kind of fills a gap in your roster when you badly need someone. With these guys, they're getting like double-digit points. And I don't know if it's gonna stop anytime soon either. So I feel like at this point, they're a reliable mid, as high as mid 3, mid 4. Like
Yeah, but
mid
that's
3
the
is very
highest, right?
pushing it.
Yeah.
You're pushing it, absolutely pushing it on mid 3. Like this is assuming you've got like lovely forwards and defenders, and you didn't draft well in the midfield position. Like for example, a Casemiro or something like that. You know, who's just getting like a consistent 8 to 10 points. I don't know if like these guys are now comparable to that. I don't think they're gonna maybe get as many attacking returns as Casemiro, but
No.
they seem dependable so far. And again, it's only been 3 game weeks, but I like the looks of it. And I feel like at least Lerma should be higher. Like his roster percentage should be higher. It's only 50%.
It should be. You're right. I mean, especially he's one of those guys. Like I have Schlupp on my bench in I think both of my leagues, and he's one of those you just let him sit there because if you get hemmed up in a game week where you just don't have a guy to start, he's the perfect player to slot in. And these guys you're talking about are the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if you can grab them, do it. And I think Spurs fixtures are mixed, I think, for the next 6 at least. I think they've got 2 in the smack dab middle of the next 6 that are tough. I think 2 of the top 6 as well.
I can tell you we've got Burnley, Sheffield United, Arsenal, Liverpool. So there's the 2, and then Luton and Fulham, and then Palace. Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good pictures.
Bissouma, you wouldn't be squeamish about playing him against Arsenal or Liverpool, would you?
Agreed. You can roll them out during those games as well, right? Because his
like-
job is going to be to get the ball back.
Yeah. I mean, those are like the types of players that I expressively advocate not to get in my yearly draft for first or last, not mid-table article. But I absolutely understand and see the value in getting them and then just leaving them. Like if you're struggling for mids, like currently I have a league where I have 3 midfielders on roster, and one of those is Harvey Barnes. So like I would die for a Bissouma Lerma type guy to be able to field legal lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Illegal.
I ended up with a roster like this because I didn't want to draft or get in your Lermas, your Bissoumas, your Jensens, your whoever's.
Yeah, I mean, on draft day, we're mainly going for people with the attacking upside, right? They can get a goal, get an assist on the day. But push comes to shove, you're going to be forced into grabbing one of your steady eddies, but on the higher end of things. So, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's move on, boys. What's in the box? Our next one is sell high. Sell high, our next box. So which players, Totti, have you placed in said box?
I placed Tomas Souček, my old favorite in this sell high box. I doubt that once the dust settles around the West Ham midfield that he gets a starting spot, a definite starting spot in that West Ham midfield. Yet now he looks like a world beater based on his points. So if you can sell someone on Souček being in the previous box, then I would probably not try to aim too high. But if you can get Suchek out and get Bissouma in or get Lerma in, then I would do that.
Oh, I feel
And
like that's an easy trade.
Yeah,
I think people will do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's usable, down to earth draft fantasy advice.
Yeah,
That's what we deal in.
That's
It's
what
just
we
you.
do, baby.
It's just you. I try to make mine specifically convoluted and hard to follow, but yours is very easy. I agree. Yes.
And Cristiano Romero, man, he's had 2 clean sheets. I think he dodged a red card already in 3 times 90 minutes. But yeah, I just don't think he scores that well or good enough in our current scoring system to warrant holding. This is sell high if you can sell for value. I would obviously start him in those upcoming 2.
Yeah.
And then probably against Palace as well. But I think they concede against Palace, which means that he doesn't get a clean sheet points, which means that he will go sub 8, sub 6 with a yellow card, which he's more than likely to get. So then maybe not even start him against Palace. So yeah, that's where my thinking is with Romero. If you can get a player that you're not contemplating dropping weekly, then you have sold high with him. Because with Romero, I think you're contemplating dropping him weekly.
Absolutely. Yeah, completely agree. All right, so we come to Ryan, and his first player is Ben Rama. I think we all completely know why that is. Moyes, for some reason, hates him. Slept with his daughter, I think, is the official word on the street, but not quite sure exactly what happened there. And then this is where Ryan places
You haven't
Joachim.
seen the tape?
What?
You haven't seen the tape?
No, I have not. I'm not going to search it. Certainly not on my school computer. This is where Ryan places Joachim Anderson, Totti, in the sell high category. And I got to say, I don't disagree with that. I really don't. I don't disagree with that. If you can get good value now, sure, go for it. I like him as a set and forget, but I can't argue with sell high, and I imagine you won't either. You're the sell high king.
I would sell anyone high. and that is like not saying I would sell anyone when I'm high.
Right.
But I'd sell anyone high.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely. Like I thought Anderson was iffy in the set and forget already. Somewhere above Romero, definitely for me. But yeah, if you can get a more solid player in, then these are the types of players, and I don't want to go on a tangent, but these are the types of players that are best sold for Fab, I think, because you want the flexibility of an open roster spot, so you're not going to sell like a Romero or a Suchek or even an Anderson. You're not going to sell for or maybe you can, but I don't think that's a definitely good move to sell for a Thiago Silva or for even an Yves Bissouma, because then you're locked into a sort of non-explosive asset that you definitely can't drop, but and you play, and he doesn't get you 20 ever. He gets you 15 on good days, 8 on bad days.
Yeah.
But if you sell these guys for Fab, you keep the open roster spots. You can pick the high upside guys up from the waiver wire, from the free agency at your leisure, but you've gotten value. Like I could see you selling Anderson for like 20 odd Fab right now, which might get you Beto and BGB. If you
NBGB, exactly.
if you don't know who I'm talking about.
So Totti, you would rather I guess from what I'm understanding is that you're probably gonna get better value in Fab versus a 1-to-1 trade.
Exactly, because you're not going to get a high upside asset. So your best bet on selling these sort of very high upside, short-term, very high upside guys, your best bet is to go for a mid-range asset. Like, I think the ideal or the trade that we talked about, Souček for Bissouma, it's something that you probably could do. And with Bissouma, you wouldn't think about dropping him because he will get you those 6, 8, maybe 10, 11 points that he has been getting. But does that help your team win? Like, it helps your roster be legal, but does it really help your team win?
Right.
Whereas if you get 15, 20 fab and you know how to spend it, and this is coming back to my point about spending 100 on Kudus, if you are confident in your ability to spend the fab, then I think you can get better value from your fab.
I don't mind it. All right, mine should be fairly obvious. You have Matty Cash coming off of a career match. Like, this is a once in a lifetime match that he's just had against Burnley. The previous game, he had a clean sheet against Everton. Sure, he ghosted fairly well. But you can't play those two teams every week. Sell high. I hope it's obvious. He doesn't do this every week.
Not sure you guys will get this, but I'm sure that we have a few commenters who will get this. I had very, very strong France 98 semi-final vibes when I saw the double cash goal notifications come in. So just for context, because I see that your blank expressions.
I think I was in 6th grade or 8th grade, maybe. Yeah.
So France 98, the French team is touted as semi-favorites to go, and they're meeting Croatia, who are the surprise package of the World Cup in the semi-final. Croatia with Prosinečki, with Davor Šuker, the golden generation. And France are struggling. And the guy who comes to the rescue is one Lilian Thuram, who comes up with 2 goals in the World Cup semi-final to win the game and to progress France to the final that they eventually win in 98. So I had Lilian Thuram vibes from
there you go.
Cash.
Benji was right there with you. I love it. All right, my second player should be, again, obvious at this point. Just dropped 12.5 against Nottingham Forest. And aside from that, has been pretty abysmal. And not only that, but we've seen that he can go missing in games. We've seen that he is basically consistently going to be subbed off between the 60th and the 80th minute every single week. I don't know that you're going to get I don't know you're going to get 90 from this guy ever. And that is Anthony. I just think get him out while you can. If you have anybody who's still willing to buy into his long-term value, I'm good with it.
Target the Manchester United fans. They will eat them up quickly.
Yeah. All right, Sanjy.
So it's funny. I own Cash and Digne in a league. So I was bouncing off the walls this game week when I didn't even need the returns because I was up by like 90 points or something already.
Okay. Are you going to give us your players or not?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, humble brag, guys. So with Digne, I feel like his position is at bigger threat than Matty Cash because of Alex Moreno being back on grass, etc. So
Is he
I
back on
think
grass?
that's what I was told. Yeah, he's back on grass.
I had sorry to derail you again. There was a comment in our Discord, in the Inner Circle Discord, saying that I think it was something like, I'm not convinced that Alex Moreno is alive. We haven't seen any news on him lately.
So this is the information that I got from our Inside Tracks rep for the series. His name is John. Twitter handle, my name is John. One of the best Twitter handles.
Oh, that's
I've ever
amazing.
seen in my life.
Good for him.
Up there with Ross Barkley.
Yeah, Ross Barkley.
But basically he was saying like try and sell either Digne or Cash as soon as possible because Moreno's back on grass. He thinks that Moreno, Torres, Carlos, Consa will be the preferred setup, at least for like away matches. And he thinks that Cash will be competing with the likes of Bailey and McGinn because I mean if you look at some of the heat maps that we've seen, Cash is almost playing like a right winger, right midfielder as well, right? So and the average position is like they've got 3 center backs at the back, and he's saying that he thinks Digne becomes a rotation once Moreno is fully back, and yeah, I think that's why you should maybe sell high. But my only worry is that why would a manager take a player out of his team after the player is already playing well? He's got a good run of form. He's getting attack returns. He's doing the things on the pitch that Moreno was doing, right? So that's why I guess in that sort of concern, if you're too worried about it, maybe you target the Moreno owner or do what Totti says, right? Is sell for fab versus getting a 1-for-1 trade. And with Awoniyi, the guy is on I guess on his way to break Vardy's record. What is that? 9 returns or in 7 games or 7 goals in 7 games, something like that. Yeah, I would have never expected that he was going to score 3 goals in 3 games, given the fixtures versus Arsenal, Sheffield, and United. Maybe 1 in 3.
None of us would.
Yeah, right. And his points have kind of reflected how dependent he is on attack and returns, right? 11, 17.5, 14.5. So maybe you can convince a manager that, he's maybe able to score 2 in the next 5 or something like that. And again, we're short for strikers or reliable strikers in our leagues this season. So I think that's another opportunity to sell an asset. So
would you rather Awoniyi or Beto? MBGB.
MBGB all day, baby.
NBGB. Oh, I love it. It reminds me of. Do you guys know anything about CBGB? Is that a thing that you're aware of? Okay, it's a pop culture thing here. Benji can speak to it, I'm sure, in chat. It's a very, very, very famous concert venue where like some like really went on to be famous like punk bands played in the 70s and 80s. Anyway, yeah. So CBGB, check it out. All right.
Save it for your hip hop podcast.
This will be the different podcast. Speaking of somebody who will know about CBGBs, Ryan.
That
has to be one of the best intros ever. Yeah, that was great.
Yes. Okay. Benji's backing me up. All right. Shall we move on to the last category? What's in the box? This is no more than a streamer. These are real letdowns for me because these are guys we all had hope for. And we really thought it was going to work out. And now it's just come all crashing down. And maybe you can play them here and there, but no. Turns out it's just against shit teams, and that's about it. So, Ryan, are you back with us? Yeah, there he is. All right.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic.
All right.
Beautiful. All right, we're getting into no more than a streamer. Here we go. Totti, who do you got? Who's in the box?
John McGinn and Mateus Cunha. John McGinn has been on my radar for not being more than a streamer since I read Ryan's amazing Aston Villa piece
preseason.
He's always failed to live up to the hype from the fantasy community. He's one of those guys. The issue is that he might not even be a streamer. Like, he's a streamer.
Right.
Just hear me. I think he's a streamer based on his points, but it's not predictable points. Like, it's not points that you can, it's not like like Awani or a striker or a defender that that you start him against Everton, starting against Sheffield United, he will do well. It's McGinn is going to be, he'll drop 20 against Man United and then half a point against Bournemouth or something like that. So maybe not more, but less than a streamer. And Matheus Cunha, man, he looked good against United, but I think he carries the Wolves striker curse. He's just not going to be scoring goals or getting assists in a frequent enough manner to be able to warrant starting him in any matchup that is not against the bottom 5-6 teams.
Yeah, the 0 against Everton was brutal. The 12.5 against Brighton, though, unexpected, and 9.5 against United. So, I don't know. Is that counter to your narrative there?
It is. He might be the same as McGinn. Like, based on points, he's a streamer, but you can't predict when he's going to stream. So, avoid.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Ryan, who's in your box? Wait, that sounds weird. Ryan, who would you like to place in?
What is in your box?
He's put 2 entire franchises in the box.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys discussed before, but were my previous picks getting slated, or what's Omar's comment about I had to come on to explain my choices?
Omar's referring to the fact that you and I had Anderson in 2 separate boxes. Mine was set and forget, and yours was sell high. Which honestly, yeah. I can see both of those, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the sell high, but yeah, that's a different story. Sheffield United and Luton Town. I just don't think any asset from either of these clubs is worth rostering long term. So I think as a result, they're all no more than a streamers.
What about Giles? What about Giles, man?
Fucking Giles, man.
I almost put Giles on the set and forget.
What?
I almost did it.
Yeah, his 5 spot last week. Yeah. As bad as it sounds, he's got the most potential to be more than a streamer, but I still don't think at the end of the day, like I was relying on him to get, if he got 7 points, I win my game week, but he got fucking 5.
Yeah.
And he was just, the eye test was terrible. His crosses were fucking horrific.
Exactly. I think that's the main point.
You can tell Ryan's in Ireland.
Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah, I could see fucking Doughty coming in, replacing Kabore in the starting lineup, and then maybe like sharing or even ultimately taking over the sets. That's how bad Giles was. I didn't see the midweek match from them, but yeah, I don't know about that. And nobody else is worth it. I mean, Ross Barkley, got 1.5, so like he's just not going to be reliable. And then
more than expected.
Yeah. Sheffield, I think, has a bit more assets that might be worth rostering. Ollie McBurney, if he nails down a role and reclaims his aerial ghost, might be worth rostering. I know people are like enthralled with Hammer. I just don't think he's going to be worth rostering long term. And yeah, other than Jaden Bogle, Totti, I mean, he's your only hope.
Bogues.
But I think, yeah, by and large, I don't think there's anybody more than a streamer in either club. They're just too bad.
That's fair.
Yeah, Doughty, I think his goal was a direct free kick in the cup game. Was beautiful to see. So I mean, yeah,
But I mean, you clearly watched the Chelsea game and like saw all of his bad set pieces. Like they were really, really bad.
Yeah. You mean Giles?
And
Yeah.
And he was even worse defensively. I mean, that's my issue. Like, if they're gonna
He
build
got
from
skimmed, yeah.
if they're gonna build from a solid foundation and try to get one goal in a scrappy 1-0, then
Yeah.
Ryan Giles is not someone you want to rely on at the back.
Yeah, they can't keep conceding 4 and 3 and whatever else. Yeah. But I mean, that's why I say Ryan, like, as far as Giles is concerned, 5 in a 3-0 rout seems okay to me.
It's not okay for someone that's on all set pieces. And like it's not like Chelsea had the ball the entire time and he got no set pieces. He got a fair amount of set pieces. He was just not reaching anyone's forehead. They were hitting the first man half the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like I said, he has the most opportunity to turn it around and be more than a streamer. And I still have him in one league. I'm not completely giving up, but West Ham on Friday is last chance saloon.
That's fair. All right, Totti. Unfortunately, I have to add Kerkez Miloš to no more than a streamer. It's painful for me. Drafted him in a league, but I just think Bournemouth aren't very good. And so I think his returns are going to basically depend on whether or not they can not concede between 2 and 5 goals. I think he'll be fine in games where he is up against opponents who aren't going to put away a whole bunch of goals on him. And, I just think in the rest of them, he's going to be pretty mediocre. So no more than a streamer for me. That's not to say you have to drop him, but I might hold him on my bench for those matchups where he's got some decent upside. And then this one also hurts me just generally as a fan of Liverpool, but Konate is not it. He's not doing it for us for fantasy, guys. And we just need to be honest with ourselves about that. A 5.12 points per game average is not going to do it when it comes to a Liverpool defender. And I just don't know that we're going to be necessarily the place you want to go looking week in and week out for clean sheet opportunities. We'll just say that. So those are my shouts. How about you, Sanjy?
2 center backs. Yeah, it's just their points output. Last 3 game weeks have not been impressive. I know Ruben only played 2, but when he kept the clean sheet, he got 7.5 points. I mean, similar to Pau, when he kept the clean sheet, 8.75 points. But other than that, they've gotten like 0.75, negative 0.25 by Pau, 2 by Ruben. Like, it's just like you need a clean sheet to get points, and that's never a comfortable feeling with any of your assets that you own. And football's just unpredictable, man. Goals are flying in. I feel like we're having fewer clean sheets this season than before. So I mean, yeah, it's just with any of these centre backs, they don't really have massive ghost point potential, especially the City ones, when they have a lot more of the ball and they're not doing too many defensive actions and that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
I think we have been, again, I want to refer anyone who has the draft kit or the ultimate pass to Ryan's Aston Villa piece on Pau Torres. We were never really that high on him for fantasy purposes. Ruben Dias, yes, we know what City defenders are like. They don't have a lot to do, but they likely concede a goal. Funnily enough, Joe, I wanted to circle back to your 2 guys because I have both of them in my home league and have been eyeing on, like, looking at dropping them both for the upcoming schedule. I ended up not having to drop them, but yeah, I think I agree. It's the issue with Bournemouth's schedule. I think Kerkez will be good in games that Bournemouth are on the attacking, and Konate will be good when Van Dijk is back, or I don't know.
Yeah.
He might not be good ever. So I think he's closer to the drop ASAP. Than the No More Than a Streamer. For me, Kerkez still has a lot of potential. Someone wrote a few minutes back that he's Udogi light, which is a good description, I think, for fantasy purposes. I know a few years back we had when Nelson Semedo came in the league, we had a good conversation with Ryan about him. The fact that he gets good ghosts, like he got good ghosts, and it's the same with Kerkez. But if they constantly keep conceding 1 or 2 goals, then having a ghost point floor of 8, 9 in a vacuum is amazing, or like not amazing, but definitely decent. But if you're getting -2 or -4 every week on that 8-point score, then they're not worth rostering. And I fear that that's going to happen to Bournemouth and Kerkez, which is a shame because on a better team or on a more defensively solid team, I think he would be a very good asset.
Well, and you alluded to the upcoming fixture list. So after Brentford, then international break, Chelsea, Brighton, Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then it's favorable. Everton, Wolverhampton, Burnley before City, Newcastle. But
it's very short stretches of very bad games and then very good games and then very bad games.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Anyone want to add anything else to any of these guys currently on the screen?
I love that. I think it was last week when we were asking about our best calls, and Totti said Kerkez, and now he's no more than a streamer. I had to chuckle when I saw that you put Kerkez in there because that's gotta hurt, but it's patriotism.
It is. Yeah. Come on. Exactly.
I get that. Yeah.
That's why you and I immediately added Tyler Adams, right, Ryan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I'm keeping Balogun. I don't care.
Exactly. Okay, cool. All right, so there you go. That is that's your what's in the box. That's wait. Oh, Ryan, you didn't hear the drop that I made for this.
Oh shit! Yeah, let's hear it.
Here we go.
Guess what's in the box? What's in the box?
What's in the box?
It's an all-timer.
I was like, I thought it was from 7, and then let's put it at the end. That's perfect. Yeah.
It's an all-timer. All right, let's move on to Game Week 4 streamers. Sanjy, you want to kick us off? I think you're muted, brother.
Yeah.
There we go.
How do I follow up Anthony Martial and Lyle Foster? That's the question. The difficult part about this is going first when you're the last person to put in the waiver picks, because I had to look through everyone else's and I was like, damn, I wanted that. Damn, I wanted that. So I really had to like scrape a little bit for this. But
okay, but hold on. You got like some serious shout outs on Discord and on Twitter for your Lyle Foster pick.
Yeah, I mean, it nearly helped Gavin beat Ryan. I was so close, Ryan. So close.
Oh, his 9 points with a goal? Yeah, it was close.
Listen,
he had a great day.
It's better than nothing, you know? You win some, you lose some. I mean, I owe Ryan a logger now. That's the only downside. But anyways, the picks that I kind of want to talk about. So to start off, Anil Ahmed Hodzic versus Everton. I know Everton won tonight in the cup, but they were down 1-0 to start the game. And this game is happening at Bramall Lane. Both teams really need to finally kickstart their campaign in the Prem. And I'm gonna go with the Sheffield team because Everton again still not converting chances, etc. I know we like touted Beto to hit the ground running. At least one of us did. But would it surprise you if I said that I think of all the Sheffield outfielders, Anel has attempted the most shots for Sheffield United so far?
Whoa.
Yeah. I was.
Yes, it would surprise me.
It would surprise anyone.
Who's been out.
Yeah, McBurney has been out, and it would surprise anyone who has not read our Sheffield United team preview.
Yeah.
Where we said that he is a high volume shooter.
Boom.
Defender that is he was in the 95th percentile for shots for defenders.
So there it is.
He got goals in the championship as well, right? I think maybe 6 goals or something like that. So who knows? The only person that I see stopping Ahmed is the mighty Branthwaite, now that he's gotten a chance for Everton. But yeah, that's my punt of like a possible clean sheet with a possible goal.
Okay.
Yeah. So next we've got Jomez. He came on he came as a substitute for the red card, right, for Luis Diaz. I think when Virgil I mean, we can be here all night to debate whether it's a red card or wasn't it.
It is.
But it was.
Yeah.
Okay. A quick debate then.
Yeah, it was. Last man.
I thought as Liverpool fans we would have heard some sort of patriotic opinion, but okay, all right, cool.
No, we're not upset about that. We're more upset with just the naivete around the formation and just how the players can't seem to figure it out. Anyway, go ahead.
I wouldn't put up that much of a fight if you said that Trent should have been sent off.
Yeah. Your boy. That's T-Baby, your boy.
T-Baby, man. Oh, not had a great start. But anyways, this is
sorry.
So Jomez came on for 56 minutes and scored 6.5 points, which was a little promising to see. So if Virg is out, I like the home fixture for Liverpool. But again, it's versus Villa, right? So it's a little scary how that game could swing potentially. But I mean, if you need a defensive option at like the last second, because I think when is that game? Is that game on the Sunday as well? It's one of the later. Yeah,
yes,
it's on the
Sunday. Yep.
So if you need like a last minute option for a possible streaming defender, I think that's one you could probably consider, because you're not gonna get anyone from the last game, Arsenal versus Manchester United, right? So I feel like Jomez. Also, how long is Virg out for, by the way? Is it a few games? One game?
It's one game, but the FA are investigating in disorderly conduct. Yeah,
and it could be like, you grab Jomez now and you probably have him for a few games, right? So it's a good option, I think, to at least stash for now. Next up, we have Mateta. This is Wolves. Scored a hat-trick in the cup game. Him and
Argyle.
Oh, come on. Who were winning 2-0 and required the magic of Eberiche Eze to come on and change the game.
Yeah, it was actually in like Hodgson's 4 subs, all assisted.
Yeah, exactly. Goals. So the thing is, though, what I noticed, the reason I'm suggesting Mateta is because him and Edouard both started and both played the full match as well, right? So typically, I would say, okay, well, if Edouard was on the bench and he got subbed on, then yeah, Edouard to start the next game for Palace. But what if Roy is like, yo, you scored a hat-trick, you got to start now in the league game. And it's against a Wolves team that isn't like keeping everyone out as well. Like, Jose Sa the second best scoring asset in Gameweek 3, or like top 3, top 4, something like that?
Yeah, yes.
So second behind Anderson, I think.
Yeah, so he had to make a lot of saves, right? So obviously they're conceding chances and stuff like that. So I think that's a decent punt as well. And again, it's one of those later fixtures as well, that you could need a Hail Mary at the end of your game week to kind of save you. So that's why I kind of wanted to throw that name out there. And then Delcroix, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Delcroix versus
Joe is
a French correspondent.
Belgian.
Delcroix. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Oh, I feel so fancy just pronouncing it.
Why there?
But he played the 90 minutes versus Aston Villa, right? In the 3 goals that he conceded, he put up 4.75 points. Now, the part that was most attractive about it was the fact that he had gotten 2 key passes and a shot on target. So attacking returns, well, possible attacking returns. We know Spurs aren't the best team in the world. Come on, man. They just thankfully got knocked out of the EFL Cup. I'm sure Ryan must be raving.
You're
and
just trying to
celebrating.
tee up Ryan right now, aren't you?
A little bit. Come on.
I mean, it almost seems like he's a decent streamer from a Burnley defense. If you are stuck for picking up a defender who you need only a few points from at the end of the game week.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm still not over that. Oh my.
But yeah, I think Delcroix is a good option to consider as a possible streamer. I don't know if there's going to be any fatigue from the Spurs side because they didn't roll out their first 11. I think Maddison had to come on as a sub. So yeah, again, it's one of those situations where I'm backing the home team again.
Fair. Anything from anyone else on any of these 4? I like it. I'm not going to doubt you after last week, Sanjy. Although Martial, I mean,
funny enough, Ryan from Banter Boys actually made the Martial move, and the play he dropped ended up getting negative points. So,
okay.
Yeah, I had Martial in my lineup before I changed him in or swapped him in for Lisandro, and I should have kept Martial.
Yeah.
There you go.
With what he got 2, was it?
2.
Massive 2 points. I mean, he
got
got
but it wasn't negative.
But yeah, and he had a block shot in the box. I think Bowley had blocked it, but yeah, it's just you surely take that gamble. Let's say they play another promoted team and you see Martial in the lineup. United looked a lot better with Rashford playing on the left, right? So
they always do. Yeah.
So you have to take that gamble, like.
Sure. All right, Totti, what you got for us for game week 4?
I have the 2 sort of no-brainer cop-outs.
I like it.
Defenders against Luton and Sheffield United. Vlad Soufal and Jared Branthwaite. Keane started the midway game, so that bodes well for the youngsters' chances. Against Sheffield United, it did look good against Wolves. So I am pretty much expecting 2 clean sheets from these 2 guys, and plenty of peripherals to get them to close to 15. And the second 2 are with a view, or rather considering the lack of forwards in the free agent pool, and these are 2 guys that you could ideally pick up even on match day, which is Sasha Kalajdzic, who I think did he get a return or he got the goal against Everton, but did he get a return before that off the bench as well? So I think I kind of
no.
He scored his first goal in the cup game, if that helps.
That's what you're thinking of.
Did he draw the penalty? Doesn't matter. He's played well. He's played well since he's been back and he's come on. It's going to be a fitness issue if he starts or not, because if he's fit enough, he will start. I think he is currently the only Wolves forward who can, and by forward I mean center forward, who can score goals. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, because Wolves are creating chances. If they find someone who can actually put them away at a decent rate, then he will be a decent fantasy asset. And the last one is more of a punt. Luka Koleosho from Burnley. He looked decent by all accounts, against Aston Villa. And I think we are all in agreement that we are hoping that the previously advertised leakiness of the Spurs defense finally starts catching up to them after those 2 clean sheets that they, I wouldn't say lucked into, but they definitely rode their luck a bit. They weren't like solid defensive performances in game week 2 and 3. I don't want to take anything away from them, but we're all hoping to Burnley at least get a goal against them, and it's either Lyle Foster or Luca Coleo show.
And that's fair. All right, I like it. Any comments on any of these 4?
I like
All right, sweet. Ryan.
All right. Similar type analysis for Luton Town. You got to fade him. And Kurt Zuma got 12 goats last week. JWP serving up set pieces to that big head of his. It was a good combo. Our boy Bogle came on late, got what we hoped would be a equalizer for the draw against Man City.
Yeah.
Hoping he parlays that into a start. We know from random streams a few years ago that he's a good one. Obviously the matchup is great at home against Everton. Can't get better than that. So Bogle starts, and you need a defender. He's a good shout. I'm gonna stick with my boy Sarabia. Oh Jesus, John O'Shea. I think he makes the Wolves team tick. They play better when he's in there. I hope that O'Neill finally goes back to him in the league. He had a great performance midweek, but so did everybody else. So we'll see. That's kind of a 50-50 in terms of if he starts. If he does, then he's a no-brainer against Palace. Unfortunately, it's not John O'Shea, who was such a great player. This is Dara O'Shea, who
is someone forcing you to say that in Ireland?
No. So going back to your scenario, and just to fill in our listeners, I had to choose between a Burnley defender to get 2 points to win, and I chose the only one that didn't. I got Connor Roberts because he was the only one that I've had experience with in the past, and he hadn't let me down up to that point. So having said that, Dara O'Shea was the highest scoring defender from Burnley. He got 12 ghost points and ended up with 6 points despite 3 goals conceded. And I texted my friend when I was picking which Burnley defender. I was like, I'm in Ireland, luck of the Irish, I'm going with Dara. Picked him up and then dropped him last minute for Connor Roberts, and I've hated him ever since. So,
That's brutal.
And the rest is history.
Yeah,
agony and ecstasy right there.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been comical in terms of how I've lost it. Honestly. He's more of the punt. If you really get jammed up, he's shown that he can ghost enough to get decent points. So he's more of a kind of one to watch. I want to stream him more in better matchups and kind of see how he does. But yeah, if you need somebody, then he can do a job, as he's shown.
I like it. All right. Mine, I'll hit you up with them quick. These ones are fairly obvious, I hope. Jeff. My name is Jeff. Jeff Schlupp, of course. He's been a mainstay, and he might actually be, let me just quickly see. He is rostered now in 31% of leagues. No, never mind. Go out and pick up Jeffrey Schlupp. As Sanjy and I were talking about, he's one of those you just sit on your bench. If you ever get, as Ryan says, jammed up, I love it. He's one to slot in. Easy. Hoping for 8 points, something like that. And in a great matchup, he'll get you 12. So that is Jeffrey Schlupp in a nutshell. McBurney, we're hoping he's back this week. I I have him, I think, in both leagues now because I picked him up on the waiver wire in one league. He'll be available in several leagues, especially home leagues. People will have given up on him. So he's 20% rostered at this point. Go and grab him. At the very least, he'll get you some aerials, and you can hope for a baseline of decent points. Joel Ward, same thing everyone's been saying about players playing versus Wolves or playing versus Everton or playing versus Luton or whatever it is. You're hoping that the team that is having trouble scoring goals continues to have trouble scoring goals. That's that play right there. And then Antonio versus Luton. I should have checked. I actually didn't. What his roster hood is. It's 60%. It's higher than probably it should be for me to recommend him as a streamer, but he's available in 40% of leagues. So check it out because you might as well. Against Luton, absolutely. So hit him up. Anything to add to those guys or anything else before we close her down?
Yeah, just to highlight something that Ben mentioned in the comments about McBurney. He played 45 minutes tonight in the cup, so he is fit.
Yeah, and he came on against City for 3.5.
Yeah. And in what? Like in how many minutes was that?
15 minutes or something like that.
18 minutes, yeah. 3 points in 18 minutes? Sure. Absolutely. Decent floor there, especially against City. Great. Anything else, gents? Okay. Let's close her down. Everybody, best of luck in Game Week 4. Look out for our rankings over the international break. Those will be out. And look out for these lovely gentlemen in London on Friday. I'm so jealous. But you guys have an absolute blast. Send pics. Post them on Twitter if they're appropriate. And have a great time, man. I'm so excited for you all. Mini Draftapalooza. Listeners. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to miss you. Wish you could come.
Same. All right. I'll make it happen soon. I gotta get to just generally the UK. Because I've never been in my whole life. So it's definitely something I need to rectify. All right. Thank you to everybody who was in chat. You guys were amazing tonight. This was so much fun. We're getting more and more people every week, and I just want to continue to expand the reach, expand just the people who join us and the diverse points of view and the counterpoints that you guys provide in chat. We honestly love it. It's fantastic. And so we appreciate you all. If you're listening on the podcast format, thank you as well, especially if you've made it this far. You all are amazing. You're the reason we do this. We appreciate you so much. So best of luck. Hit us up in the international break if you have any questions whatsoever, trade questions, whatever it is, and we'll do our best to help you out. Cheers. That's all I got for you. Talk to everyone soon. KPC out.
Bye, guys.